Well, good evening, everybody. It's Pam Geard here in Otautau, Southland. Just driven 2 hours to get back from the New Zealand Golf Open in Queenstown so that I could get home and get online to give you guys some more information around getting started. So excited to be able to share this with you from my hometown in Otautau, and wanted to talk to you about creating good habits and what that looks like. So the last 2 Sundays we've talked around writing down your why and your goals and what you want to achieve. Write down what it would take to achieve those goals, and then write down the objections or the obstructions that might come up. So for example, if you want to earn an extra $1,000 per month, what's that going to take? So maybe you're going to have to create some good habits and take an hour out on a Sunday night to sit down and make some appointments for the week. What does that mean to you and your family? Does that mean that you need to find time that you can put aside every Sunday so that you get into a good habit to create, and that's something your family can support, where maybe you've got to go shut yourself into a room and work from 7 o'clock till 8:30 or something like that, so that you create a good habit to get yourself to reach that goal. So write down what the objections would be to that. Maybe that's bedtime or bath time for your kids. Maybe that's a time where you would normally go visiting. Maybe that's a time when you'd normally be doing housework or getting ready for the start of your working week. So write down what your objections to reaching that goal are, and then work out a way that you can get around those, so that when the objection comes up, you already know how to deal with it. All right. Now, part of getting the brain in action and getting past the objections is to know that there is a way around it. Alrighty, so that's one of the things that I wanted you guys to focus on, because potentially you've got, okay, well, I've got this goal, I've written down a list of people, and I've looked at the inviting videos, but I haven't actually made a phone call yet. So we've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. So if you haven't made at least 10 phone calls, please call the person who's invited you on to this training video. Please go to your upline and sit down and have a meaningful conversation with them around what is holding you back. And I wanted to talk about not only creating good habits, but I also wanted to touch on something that is called fear, which is something that we all have, and everybody deals with fear in a different way. And when you break fear down into what it really is it's an anticipation of a future event turning out poorly. So it's stopping you taking action around something that hasn't even happened yet. So my challenge to you is put fear into perspective. If the event hasn't even happened, how can you be fearful of it? How will you know what it's going to turn out like if you haven't done it yet? Okay, now have a think about that, because fear is what it stops you taking action, and it stops you creating good habits, and it will stop you being successful in anything you do when fear is what drives you. So take a long, hard look at, if you haven't made those 10 phone calls each week that I talked about in the very first week in the first challenge, then what is holding you back? What fear have you got that is stopping you picking up the phone and talking to people and offering them the opportunity to create a different future for themselves and their family? And that's what we have got to offer. Now, why would you not want to offer that to your friends? You might, it could just be product that you want to focus on. So why wouldn't you be offering them the opportunity to have better health, to look better, to have better energy, to have better mental clarity? Why wouldn't you be wanting to offer those things to people, to have whiter teeth? And there are things that are important to people. Now, the thing that will stop you is fear of what they think. Is that enough to stop you from creating your future? Can they give you a better future? Why are you fearful of what they think? You know, you've done your due diligence. You know the company's really good. You know the product's fantastic. You've used them for yourself. You've seen the setup that we've got to help people get success. Why would you be fearful of sharing that with other people? So I want to challenge anybody who's having a challenge for themselves to pick up the phone and to take action. And I think that the best thing, and I will always say this, is take action first and worry about what happens later. And I think that we all overthink. We all do it. We all overthink what the outcome may be. If you pick up the phone and make the phone call, or if you just connect with somebody, however you're doing it, whether it's through text, whether it's through Messenger, whatever media you're using to contact people, just do it. Just do it and don't think about it. And then you can consider what the actions after that might be. So if taking action will reduce the fear, the first one is the hardest. Trust me, the first time you have to pick up the phone and make a phone call or connect with someone or even talk to somebody to invite them to an event or whatever, the first one is always the hardest. It gets much, much easier because you get more confidence. And that's just it. It's like starting the first day on a new job that you're going to be stuck in for potentially 40 years, working potentially 40 hours a week, and you think it's hard because it's the first day. Now look down the track 15 years, you're still working 40 hours a week. All you are is just duplicating the things you learned in that first month, your first day or two you're at work. It's only hard in the beginning. And hard, I would challenge everybody to have a look at what is hard. If it means doing action, taking action that will change your future and create you the extra cash flow that you're looking for, as opposed to digging a foundation by hand when you want to build a house, as opposed to those people who slog themselves to death on some of the work sites around the place, as opposed to, oh gosh, there's so many other options of what's hard. Put it in perspective. We are so lucky and blessed in this country that there are very few of us that don't have a roof over our heads. We don't have heating. We have food. We have people around us that care for us. We have a medical system that looks after us. We are very, very lucky, and it's made us a little bit soft by comparison to other countries, I believe. And so what is hard? Have a look at those people who don't have those things, and yet they can still be successful. So action reduces fear, and putting fear into perspective about worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. Why bother? What a waste of energy. Put your energy into just taking the action that will move you along from that. Okay, so there's a few other things I wanted to touch on. So we talked about goals and your why, writing a list of people. So just expanding on that list if you use the Fast Start, it has little prompts to help you to grow in different areas. And it's a living thing. Your list is a living thing, so you keep adding to your list. Then telling your story. So what did you do in the past? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What did you see in Nu Skin that could help you? And what was the sizzle? What was the thing that excited you that could change your future? That's your story. Learning how to tell that is part of how you use that for your invite, Then we talked about inviting. So inviting people to take a look at some information. Are they open? Using CODD, C-O-D-D. So compliment, state your objective, do a disclaimer, and set a date for when you're going to follow up. Now, you're always wanting to, at every encounter, you're always wanting to be very professional and set a follow-up. So you're always going to say to people, okay, how about I call you on this day at this time? You put it in your diary and you call them back. So you've already got their permission to follow them up. That's being professional. Okay, that is not nagging people, harassing them, haranguing them, whatever you might think, and some people start to think in their mind. If you're thinking that, it's because you're not being professional and setting an appointment and setting a follow-up time. From every appointment you have, you should set a follow-up for the next appointment. That is key. Everybody will tell you the money is in the follow-up. So it's really key that you do the follow-up and you're professional and you set a time of when you're going to do that. So that's really important. So presenting the information. So I gave you some options of websites to send people to, if you can get them along to a presentation if they've seen some information online, get them along to a presentation that might be happening in your town. Currently in the South Island, we've got a presentation in Invercargill tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Dunedin Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Timaru lunchtime, 12:15 on Friday. So there's plenty happening in the South Island, and Christchurch on the Thursday, the 15th of March. So you should be inviting now to those events, getting people along, because that's how we spread the word. And you're using other people who are more experienced to do the presentation. So it takes all of the hard work off your shoulders. All you have to do is invite and share what we're doing. So it's not a huge amount of things for you to worry about. And I think that we all get a little bit too distracted with, we get one or two people interested, and then what we do is we spend the whole time running around after them, trying to make it easy for them, doing all this stuff. Whereas if you kept inviting and showing them by example what you're doing, they will duplicate what you do. So duplication is really important in this business model, to make sure that it's not about you doing it all. It's about you following a system and duplicating it. And it's lots of people doing 2 or 3 little things ongoing that creates a distribution channel, a network that will grow and grow, not on you, because eventually down the track, you'll get 7 or 8 or 10 levels deep. People won't even know who you are. You'll be somebody that they'll say, oh, that's that person up in our upline. Okay, they won't even know who you are. And so it's important that you duplicate a system that is easy to use, that lots of people can do 2 or 3 things over and over again. And staying in the green and growing phase, which is the inviting, presenting, and following up, is key. Don't get distracted into the management phase, which is not where you are green and growing. You might think you're busy, but all you're doing is shuffling around, playing around with websites, playing around, talking to your downline, but you're not green and growing. You will stagnate and go backwards very, very quickly. If you are not meeting, greeting, and sponsoring people, you are declining. Okay, and so be very aware of that. You need to have those good habits that create growth in your network ongoing. You're either growing or you're declining. So which one do you want to be? So daily habits make a big difference in keeping you green and growing. Inviting, presenting, following up. That's as simple as this business is. Don't get too complicated about anything else. The more you do it, the more success you will have. Okay, now I wanted to also just focus on the action process, because what you'll find with any goal you set, or any new business you start, anything where you put yourself outside your comfort zone, you try something new, you'll find it's one step backward, 2 steps forward. So you're going to feel like, oh, I'm never going to get there. I just can't seem to get this thing going. What's going on? Why can't I do this? Oh, I'm such a failure. But what you need to know is that your goal is up here. And even with a missile, when it is fired, it does not go directly to the target. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down until it hits the target. Now, your journey will be exactly the same. You will sponsor somebody and it's, woohoo, let's have a party. It's great, it's great. And then you're going to talk to somebody and then they're going to go, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And you're going to go, and you're going to feel all sad and flat. Then you've got to keep inviting, and then you're going to have some success again. So understanding that there will be ups and downs is really important. And like I said, it's about putting hard into perspective. Is talking to somebody and offering them a chance to change their lives, is that hard? I don't think so. And so changing your mindset around that is really important. So using nscmindset.com is a great way to help overcome some of those bad habits that we currently have that we need to change to create good habits. So understanding it is a process of 1 step backwards, 2 steps forward is really important. And when something doesn't go quite right, and it will happen, you'll be pedaling along and you'll hit a bump and fall off your bike. Okay, as kids when we were learning to ride a bike, what did we do? We might have cried, we might have rubbed our knee, and we always climbed back on. So until you kept going and learned how to ride your bike properly. Now the thing is, at the first bump, if you fall off, you can choose to lick your wounds and walk away and be sad and flat and blame everybody else, or you can choose to take responsibility for what just happened, get up, get back on the bike, and keep pedaling. And that choice is exclusively sitting in your backyard. That is yours. You take ownership of that. What you choose to do when you hit a bump is what dictates where you will go in life, and especially with this business. So I would suggest that you take a learning from that. You salvage and go. So when something doesn't go quite right, look at that and say, okay, I didn't do that very well. What can I learn from this? And what can I do better next time? So instead of beating yourself up about it and getting stuck in that down phase, go, okay, yep, maybe I didn't do that very well. What can I do? What can I learn from it? And what can I do better next time? And those are positives that you can take to then go forward and not beat yourself up and say you're no good at it. It's a learn as you go process. So there will be times when you do things really well, and there'll be times when you don't do things very well. And trust me, you'll get lots and lots in your journey with Nu Skin of times when you do well and when you don't do well. So don't beat yourself up over it. Look to see how you can improve on the next performance. All right. I love, because this is my dad, and I always talk about my dad a lot, but my dad used to always say, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And I think he got it from Henry T. Ford. Not personally, obviously, but I think that's all about the mindset part of things. You need to change your thinking to believe that you can do this. And when you have that belief that you can do things, it's amazing what happens along the way. Like I say, there will always be challenges, and as soon as you set yourself a goal, the challenges just pop up all over the place. And that's okay, because what that means is that you're getting outside your comfort zone. And if you stay in your comfort zone and there are no challenges, then you're not growing and you're not expanding yourself and you're not pushing the context of what it is that you're trying to achieve. So we need to be growing all the time. Like I say, green and growing or declining. So, and I know which way I want to be. It's up to you to take charge of your life to see where you want to be. All right. So just to finish off, because I might even finish early tonight, you lucky people, you can get out and put your feet up. I wanted to come back and touch on the Fast Start booklet, because in the back of that, there is a list of our 7 core habits, 7 core habits for success. And I'm just going to read them out so that people can jot them down if you want, because I find that that's a good way for me when I'm learning. But number 1, be 100% product user. You should have at least 25 products in your home. Whatever you can replace from buying from the opposition where they get the profit and there is no quality or money back guarantee, you replace it with a product from yourself that gets you tax advantages, and you become a product of the product. So you will know for yourself how much better these products are. Okay, so that's the first thing, 100% product user. Do 15 personal presentations or more each month. Okay, so break that down. Like I said, set yourself a goal, then work out what that looks like, and then work out the objections or obstructions to that, and then put a way around that so that you know when you get an objection or obstruction how to get over the bumps. So 15 personal presentations or more each month. Okay, so there's 4 weeks in a month. So that's 3 4s are 12, four presentations a week. It's not even one a day. You could do all of those in one afternoon, one morning, and in an hour. You could get out 4 presentations to people and follow them up all within 1 hour block of a week if you're really concentrated. So don't make time as an excuse. Time is the reason you do this business, is so that you can create more time. Otherwise, you're just linear. You're just swapping hours for dollars. What we've got with Nu Skin is the ability to create an income-based asset that is not based on our time. Set it up once, set it up right, and then you can live off it ongoing. and you can will it to your children. So to me, it's just a no-brainer. It is the only game in town when it comes to creating independent income streams going forward. Okay, so that's a really good goal for you guys to be setting. You should be looking to do 15 presentations a month or more. Create 2 or more new personal customers or ADRs each month. Now, ADRs are fantastic because you can look at the start of the month, look into your volume and genealogy in the back office, and you can see how much volume you've got for the month already there coming through with the ADRs. If you don't know what ADRs are, go and speak to the person who invited you along, okay, and get a little bit more information. They are still a part of Velocity. They may change down the track, but they are a great way to set up a good base. So that's products that come out every month, whether it's toothpaste, whether it's Vitality, whether it's Y-Span, Life Pack, skincare, hair care. Doesn't matter what it is, but it comes out every month. Okay, achieve 8 volume blocks or more by the end of the second week of the month. Now, that's because that puts you up into that 35% commission bracket. That's where the money, much more money at that level. So for the last 2 weeks of the month, you get paid at 35% plus for all the continuing volume that you create. So working on 8 blocks by the first 2 weeks and get it done, okay? And it also means that you don't have the stress at the end of the month of trying to get to a block when your time is running out. You should be reading and listening to an OTG recommended book or audio daily. And that's about the mindset. That's about feeding the brain and keeping yourself focused on what it is you want to do so that you can back yourself up to do that. And attend all of the events that are recommended for you. Now, we do not, as Upline, we do not just randomly recommend events because it's good for us. We know that leaders are born at events. And so whether it's an event you go to, your local event that your upline leaders are putting on for you to bring people to, so that 1, you can re-sponsor yourself every time you go, and 2, you can use it as a tool to introduce new people, whether it's one of those sorts of events or whether we're talking about you coming to or going to convention in April in Australia. Now, you should already be working out a way that you can get yourself there, because it's not only an investment in yourself, it's an investment in your business and growing that to the next level. You will be amazed at the information you get when you go and listen to other people speaking that aren't your local upline leaders. And there are amazing people. We have amazing people in the Pacific that we get to hear from whenever you go to those events. It just got pointed out to me that Toowoomba is the biggest generator of income in the Pacific for Nu Skin. And Toowoomba is about 100,000 people. It's about the size of Dunedin. So if you say to me, oh, there's not enough people, I'm from a small town, I'm going to say to you, get over yourself and get on with it, because there are people in much smaller towns around the world that are making huge money with Nu Skin. And whether or not you sponsor everybody in your town or whether you go to the next town or the next province, doesn't matter. We're seamless. So get over yourself and stop making excuses is what I would have to say. Talk to everybody, and if they aren't interested and aren't looking for extra cash flow, then ask them if they know somebody that is. Okay, so referrals are always top of the list when you're asking people. So reading and looking at books, attending all the events, and like I say, we encourage people to go to those for a specific reason, because we know how much growth we've all had personally for ourselves, and what we've seen other people, how much we've seen other people grow. And then the last thing is to be a team player. So duplication, edification, respecting each other, and consultation. And one of those things is you should always be in touch with your upline if you've set a goal, so that you can share what's happening and know that you're on target for that. Okay? So I am just working through the Getting Started Fast Start book, as well as I was working through the mental makeover. I was working through a part of the NSE mindset, which you probably can't see. No, you can't. Doesn't matter. Don't mind me, I'm a little disorganised. Okay, so coming back to things that will help us to prosper, and I'm just going to wind up for the last couple of minutes. When we're getting started with somebody, okay, so we've done all of our good things. We've invited them, we've presented the information, we've followed them up, and they're interested to get started. Yay! The system works. That's cool. That's one more for the team, right? And so what we do is we help them to place their first order. We help them to get a number and to get their first order in. We teach them what we've taught you. So you can just take them back and tag them on the Getting Started, the first video we did in this series. Sit down and watch it with them. Ask if they've got any questions. Ask, does it make sense? Help them to work through that process of writing down their whys and a goal or some goals for them, writing down a list of people, teaching them, helping them to tell their story, showing them where those little videos are that they can watch, setting them some homework, inviting, helping them in getting a good invite, using CODD, and inviting some people to present some information to, helping them through that process, helping them to get their ADR set up, helping them to get the Fast Start booklet printed and filled out so that they know they're part of a team. Show them where all the websites are that they can get the trainings from, and work through and help them to go so that they can help invite to the next presentation that's local in their town. Obviously for people who are out of town, then you invite them to look at some information online. And then you follow up with a 3-way call with your upline. Okay, so using the 3-way call is a really powerful tool. Now that still all comes back to creating some good habits and using action to replace fear and putting fear into context. So I'm going to wind it up now. Thanks very much for your half hour on a Sunday night. I value that you take the time to come and do this. And I wish you all very much huge success going forward, because I truly believe from the bottom of my heart that we have the best vehicle going forward to create leveraged income that can help and change people's lives throughout the world. So I wish you all a great Sunday night. Go off, set yourself some good habits for the week, and I'll catch up with you on Wednesday night for some accountability. Okay, see you all then. Bye now.
Coaching the boys and one girl for bringing us magic beers. That's been very helpful. But great. And again,
I just like to thank all the parents that came along, and thanks to the Blue team, thanks to Jamie and Adam, and especially Donna for helping us out, and for the Blue team when we were short came and helped us out as well. So thanks for all that, and well done guys for this year. They kind of went from herding wildcats to just herding cats at training, but we got them eventually.
We're going to give out some certificates. Shooter. Yeah. Jonathan.